Hello YouTube model building community. Dwayne here again, Badman Customs. Doing a video here on a Friday night. Just a little bit of an information video on, well, for any of us Canadians who are looking at taking part in H-Town's House of Kolor's build coming up in April. So I've done a fair bit of legwork. I know that the House of Kolors is difficult to get here in Canada, and when you find it, if you can find it, it's fairly pricey compared to the U.S. right now, primarily because our dollar sucks right now. So, but anyhow, I have researched. I have found a couple of suppliers, which I'll leave in the description of the video. I have found a supplier in Vernon, British Columbia. They are called D&E distributors, and they will ship you whatever of the colors that you want plus the reducer. Price wise, through them, you're looking at about $22 per 4-ounce bottle for the low end of the scale. That would be the Shimmerin Metallics line, which is you don't need a base, a silver base or whatever. You can use this Shimmerin Metallics as a base, and then if you wish, you can clearate over it, or you can use candy colors. But that's your lower price range line of paints there. Not as many colors to choose from, and then from there the prices move up to, I'm only guessing because I only priced out the cheaper stuff, but a comparative with the website TCP Global, it looks like to me you can basically take whatever pricing that's on the TCP Global website and just double it, and that's what your cost on the House of Kolors products will be. So, and that includes the reducers. You know, a pint of reducer on TCP Global is, I think it's like $12 and some cents for a pint, and through D&E distributors it's $25 for a pint. So to use that as a guideline, you can look up prices on TCP Global and double them. And then as far as shipping goes, for me, I'm in the Calgary area here, and she quoted me about $20 for the shipping. So to buy three colors plus a pint of reducer, I was looking at, I can't do the math in my head, but with the shipping on top of it, it would have been about 115 bucks, and that's a bit pricey, but that's what the price is here in Canada. I also believe you can actually order direct from TCP Global here in Canada. You just want to be careful when you're pricing it, because the product's cheaper, but the shipping costs are quite a bit more. I priced out the exact same three colors and the reducer with shipping from TCP Global, and then I factored in what the exchange rate would be, and $115 is what that would cost to have the same paint and reducer ordered through TCP Global as it would be through D&E distributors in Canada. So, it's not cheap. I mean, maybe one color and a 4 ounce bottle of reducer would get you in there for like, I'd like to say around $35 or something, like, you know, somewhere in that area, and then shipping on top of that. It could keep the costs reasonable, or even two colors. As we're, TCP Global, you could probably get a few more colors, but the shipping costs increase with each extra bottle of paint that you order. So there's an initial large cost of shipping, and then I think they add like, $3 or $5 per item. So if you're, like I worked it out. It was going to cost me for 3 bottles of paint and the reducer, and actually at that pricing it was only a 4 ounce bottle of reducer. It was going to be $44 US in shipping costs. So, either direction you go, you're going to end up paying a bit more. So, now if you live in the States, you can get it free shipped on, well, I don't know if the paint is, but it's a lot less costs and shipping, so you're lucky buggers there. So, but anyhow, so that's what I've done for research as far as buying it, ordering it online through suppliers, or, well, actually D&E, I don't believe they even have a website. You'd pretty much have to phone them directly, and I can put the phone number in there as well for you. Now there is another option that you can go, and I've researched this option as well, and that is if you go to a auto body supplier, like a retailer that'll sell you that. Well, I'll use an example. Locally, we have an auto body supply shop that mixes the colors right in store. So if you and this particular one, and as far as I could find, there's only one in Calgary. There is a store that will mix your color for you. You just go in there and tell them what you want for a color, and they'll mix it up for you and sell it to you. Problem is that they won't do a smaller quantity than an 8 ounce. Well, they'll just mix it up and put it in a little tin for you. So 8 ounces is the smallest amount that you can purchase, and it's pretty much on par with the costs of the 4 ounce bottles. I priced out a base color, and we'd be looking at about $50 for 8 ounces of a base color, and then you got to buy your reducer, and then if you're wanting to do a candy over top of that, or whatever, so that works out. I mean, that's a large outlay for a lot of guys. It certainly is for me, so that's not really an option for me at this particular point in time. Maybe down the road, if a guy wants to keep a larger quantity on hand, if he's mixing his own colors, it might be worthwhile in the end. But if we're doing a build just to try the paint out, I think the best route to go would be to order either from the supplier that I had mentioned, or TCP Global. And as far as I know, TCP will ship to Canada, and that shouldn't be a problem. And it looks like they have PayPal on their website too, if that makes a difference for you as well. What else was I? There was one other thing I thought I wanted to mention, but Now I'm drawing a blank. So, anyways, I just wanted to put the information out there that it's available. And if you know, I would encourage, you know, us Canadians to try and jump in on it. And I mean, I know it'd be steep to get in on it, but it just, you know, it is available in Canada. You can get it, and it's not really any different than anything else. I mean, anything that comes out of the States for us is always, it's particularly when our dollar's poor, um, it's more expensive. I mean, you know, when our dollar was on par with the States there a few years back, we could buy any of the hot rod parts like cams and intakes and you know, you name it. If it was coming out of the States, we were paying the same price as what the the U.S. the Americans were paying for it. So times were good, and but now they're just not at the moment. So you know, and now it's the same. I mean, you couldn't go and buy that same intake manifold right now for what you paid for it a few years ago, and it's just simply because of our dollar. So, but anyways, I'll uh, I'll leave it at that. And you know, I feel free to fire any questions my way here too. I mean, I've done a little bit of research on the product itself. I don't know an awful lot about it. I know that there are a million color possibilities uh, with the House of Kolor. You know, even especially if you went through the automotive uh, supplier that will mix you the color on the House of Kolor website. There's just a million colors, and then you know if you want to use one of their paint systems where you can use a color base and a different color candy. There's just so many different combinations of different colors that you can come up with. So, but anyways, I'll leave it at that, and you know, feel free to ask any questions. And you know, I hate to speak for Freddy, but I would imagine he'd be all right too if you had any particular questions on the House of Kolor paint. I think he's quite knowledgeable on it, and I'm sure he shouldn't have too much trouble answering any other questions. So hope that's okay, Freddy. Anyhow, well, I guess we'll see you later then. Alrighty.